Hello everyone, and welcome to Shalom Aleichem. Today we are doing a recovery vlog because I said I would do one every week and then I didn't do one for the past 2 weeks because I was on vacation and then I uploaded my vlog from vacation. But we're back doing a recovery vlog. So, let's get started. Today I had a heart therapy appointment. Like there's no segues here. I had a heart therapy appointment today. Basically the therapy appointment was about challenging certain faulty beliefs I have regarding my sexual obsessions, and it was really hard to the point where at one point I was crying and I was kind of like a statue. Like I was talking back, but I was very stiff. I couldn't move. Like it takes a lot, I think, for me. Well, maybe not that much, but it's a big thing for me when I feel that way. I actually went into therapy feeling really good and like I didn't even know what to talk about, but we got into this topic. And specifically the topic is challenging the idea that a taboo relationship, being in a taboo relationship, would make me a bad person. And by that I mean a relationship with someone who my OCD would target, like a professional figure in my life, a therapist, psychiatrist, or a doctor figure in my life, or like a professor. And it was really hard for me to talk about that. We went through a lot of stuff, and a lot of it was about me needing to accept the fact that I can't control my attractions, and that's really hard for me. And I feel like it's hard for me to admit this stuff because I talk all the time about how we can't control our attractions, but we can control our reactions. I talk about how like thoughts mean nothing, and they do. They mean nothing. I really truly believe that, but when I'm in an OCD moment, it's very hard for me to believe that. And she thinks that, my therapist thinks that me having these faulty beliefs still in place, that's the reason why my intrusive thoughts still make me anxious after like all of these years. And even though now it's much easier for me to talk my thoughts out loud to her, but I still get anxious. It's something where she thinks I need to challenge these beliefs more. I need to do some cognitive restructuring on that. So one of the big themes of today's appointment was accepting my attractions and accepting the fact that I might be attracted to this one person my OCD really focuses on. And it was really hard. It's something that like, it seems really silly, right? It seems really silly to talk about that. Like, who cares if you're attracted to this person? But when you have OCD, these things can make you terrified. And the exposure I did today was terrifying as well. She wanted me to write a letter to that person admitting that I was in love with them. I'm not in love with them, but she wanted me to do that as an exposure to kind of expose myself to that fear of maybe I will say that to him, maybe I think that about him. We kind of targeted that, we targeted that because we figured out that that was kind of what's bothering me still, the fact that I could be in love with him. Like, I'm getting better at talking about my thoughts, but the problem is that I'm having trouble accepting that uncertainty. So we did an exposure. She wanted me to write out a letter to the person admitting I was in love with him. She wanted me to text it to him. Well, she didn't want me to text it to him, but she wanted me to write it out in a text and then delete it. Or to write it out in social media and then delete it, but that was way too hard for me right now. For me, like, I feel like texting, putting it in the text message app or whatever, would make me extra anxious because it's like I could accidentally press it, and I have fears of doing it on purpose, but I could also do it accidentally, and that really scares me. This seems a lot more plausible than me doing it on purpose. So we just wrote a letter in my journal, and it was so hard. It was really hard, but it's something that I have to work on, because if I don't work on it, these intrusive thoughts will still keep coming at me and keep making me anxious. And I don't want them to make me anxious forever, so I'm going to keep working on it. I think that's all I have about today's appointment written down. Except there was one part that really, really bothered me. That was when we were talking about how I might be attracted to him, and then she actually said, I think he's an attractive guy. And then I was so anxious, because immediately I was like, no, you can't say that. You can't say that. That's wrong. You can't do that. You can't say that. You can't feel that. But obviously that's illogical. Like, I can't control someone else's feelings, and also, I mean, maybe some people do find him attractive, and that thought fills me with anxiety. Because, like, if they think that he's attractive, then maybe I can think he's attractive. And, like, if everyone had, like, a consensus, I can't say that word right now, consensus, is that it? Okay. If everyone, I can't say that word either! Okay, if everyone agreed that he was, like, an ugly guy, I would feel so much better. I mean, that would be really mean to him, but I would feel so much better. But no, like, guys, I can't do that. That would be a mean thing. I can't just call him ugly all the time, although I want to. I honestly, truly, I believe nobody is ugly, so I can't call him ugly and be serious about it. So, like, there's my own beliefs trying to be a nice person getting me biting me in the butt because I have OCD about it. But yeah, it was a really hard appointment. And then afterwards I did go out to eat, and food makes me feel better. So I also wanted to talk to you guys about my last appointment last week, where I talked about this fear I've been having about getting nauseous. And we discussed it, and we discussed about whether or not it was emetophobia. And I actually talked about this in a vlog, my second recovery vlog. We talked about whether or not it was emetophobia, and emetophobia is the fear of vomiting, except it goes much more than just feeling uncomfortable vomiting, because like nobody likes vomiting, but it goes to the point where people are like afraid to leave their house even, because they could get sick outside and that would be embarrassing and terrifying, or they could see someone else get sick, or they could catch a bug and then they could get sick, and things like that. Where that's why I told my therapist that I don't think I have emetophobia, because it's not that severe. And also we discussed how we kind of figured out that it's really more about making choices. It doesn't have to do with eating, it doesn't have to do with even really nausea. I mean, that's a fear, but it comes up when I have to make a choice. And I've had obsessions about making choices before, but normally the fear was that I'd go to hell. So now it's about me getting nauseous. And honestly, I've gotten so used to the ones about going to hell, I actually prefer those. Those were very, 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 very terrifying for me when I first started out. But I've been around this obsession for so long and this OCD treatment for so long that I'd rather have the obsessions about going to hell. And that is because these new obsessions about nausea, when I think them, when OCD tells me if you choose this, you will get nauseous, I immediately actually get nauseous. And I hate throwing up. I haven't thrown up in like 11 years. And I do not want to throw up again. And the fact that I get so nauseous, and even to the point where I almost threw up once because of these thoughts. And the fact that I get so nauseous is very scary to me. And it's hard to deal with. It's been better this week though. It was worse last week, but so yeah. But talking about emetophobia also made me think about how I have this fear of getting a new mental illness. So things like a lot of times when I'll read things about like different mental illnesses like PTSD, or maybe one more applicable to my life like eating disorders or emetophobia or different phobias, I'll immediately get scared that I will contract that illness, and that I will have that illness for the rest of my life and have to deal with that on top of all the other things I'm dealing with. Depression, anxiety, OCD. So that was a thing that kind of came up as well. Not really in the therapy session, but just in my head. So yeah, that's been the last 2 therapy sessions for you guys. It's been rough lately. I've been so stressed because of school and stuff, and then I've been working really hard on getting out videos. So it's just, yeah. So I've been working on videos. Normal schedule should resume soon. Also, I'll be taking part in Mental Health Week. I think I'm going to do a more formal announcement to that later. But as for right now, just know I'll be taking part in Mental Health Week. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you all later. Bye!